In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to add a CSV with latitude and longitude coordinates to your QGIS project. Now that we have a CSV with latitude and longitude from our last tutorial, namely free lunch locations in New York City during COVID-19, I'm going to show you how to add those to a map. First, I'm going to add the New York City borough boundaries that we've seen in a previous tutorial. So I have that same shapefile and I'm just going to drag it into my project. And now I'm going to open up the data source manager tool. And instead of vector, as we used before, I'm going to click on delimited text. I'm going to click on the three dots and then navigate to the CSV that we created in the last demo. So I'm going to use this one that says geocoded. So this is the same CSV that I created in Geocodio and then downloaded. So if you followed that tutorial, you may need to find it in your downloads folder. What just happened is the data source manager tool jumped behind the main window, which I mentioned in a previous tutorial can happen sometimes. So if it disappears like that, just move your main window and look for it behind. So now I've got it back. This is the layer name it's going to display as. Feel free to change it if you would like. This is a CSV file, which is the default file format. I don't have to worry about records and fields at the moment. If there was, for example, a row at the top of the CSV, which didn't contain my actual headers for my variables, I could discard it here. I will turn on detect field types if that's not clicked already. There's some other options that I can ignore for now. So in geometry definition, this is what we want to pay attention to. In this case, by default, QGIS selected no geometry attribute only table. And that would be a CSV table that does not have any coordinates, be they latitude and longitude, or another type of coordinates, which is referred to as X and Y. So in this case, we do have latitude and longitude, which is going to allow us to directly map our CSV as points. So I'm going to click on point coordinates, and then it's going to give me options to define my point coordinates. QGIS has correctly identified them in my data. So all I need to do now is click add. It is prompting me to do a transformation, which we've seen in earlier tutorials. I can just click OK here and let it use the default. And then it might look like nothing has happened, but if you move the data source manager tool, you will see points in the QGIS window. This window will stay up unless you close it. So I'm going to close it out for now. And now I can see all of the free meal locations during COVID that we geocoded in the last demo displayed throughout New York City. You can see their distribution. You can see that there are fewer on Staten Island and mostly towards the North Shore. There are fewer in Lower Manhattan and very few in Midtown Manhattan, more in Upper Manhattan, the Bronx, throughout Queens and throughout Brooklyn. If I want to look at the attribute table for these free meal locations, I'll do that the same way as I've shown in previous demos. I'll just click open attribute table, and then what displays is a table that looks exactly like the CSV that we geocoded in the last demo. It's got all of these different fields. Some of them I don't need anymore. I can also use my identify features tool if I would like, and I can click on an individual point and examine the attributes in the identify results window. That is how you load a spatial CSV into your QGIS project.